on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of The Green Zone, the most elevated sports podcast. If you guys like what we got going on here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Be a friend, tell a friend, share it with someone, pass it along to them, and drop something in the comment. Give us some ideas of what you guys want us to talk about in the future, or if you guys liked what we're talking about here, let us know down there. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, let's get into the episode. Welcome back. We are talking today about the Jacksonville Jaguars. What is there to say about the Jacksonville Jaguars? I think they are in for a rude awakening, if we're being honest. But before I get into it, we are going to, talk about their re-signings, get into a little bit about their free agency acquisitions, who they drafted, who they lost in free agency, where their areas of strength are, positions of need. We'll kind of run it down all the way through, have some important questions to address, and then we'll kind of look at what their season's going to look like overall. The Jaguars, man, I don't think they did enough in the offseason, and I think they're going to have a little bit of a tough time in the AFC South, where almost every single team in their division got better. I shouldn't say almost every single team in their division got better. I wouldn't say they necessarily got worse. They definitely got some good players, but I feel like they're about the same as they were last year, and especially starting, you got to talk about first and foremost. Trevor Lawrence was broken off this offseason. I think he's going to be making about $55 million a year, depending on where the cap hit ends up. That could definitely hurt you a little bit later on down the line, though it was an extension. So you have this year, and I think you have just this year, and then I think it should kick in next year, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the year after. So you basically are loading up saying, this is our year to go after it. Him, Doug Peterson, they've had a little bit of a rocky relationship, not in terms of their actual, how they interact with each other, but how they perform on the field. It's been tough. It's been real tough. You see the good, and then you see the bad, and you're like, shit, this guy was touted to be the next god, the next perennial all-star, and you're thinking, does he really have it? I mean, fuck, man. It's been 3 years now. We've seen consistently. I mean, he obviously his first season with what's his face from Ohio State, Urban Meyer, did not go well. It was not a pretty sight, and the team showed some flashes, especially when Urban was fired. But nah. And then next year, Doug Peterson comes in, and they put a little bit of work together. They managed to make it to the playoffs, win the division. You're thinking, okay, then Jaguars got something. Now it's time to build upon it. And next year they come in and they start hot, and then they kind of start fumbling a little bit. Trevor gets hurt a few times. I don't think he missed a game, or maybe he missed one game, and all of a sudden you're kind of like, shit. What are the Jaguars going to do? Should we pay this man in the offseason? Which they ended up doing. And I don't think it was the best of choices, the amount of money they're paying, but the way he's been talked about in the media and the ceiling that he has as a player definitely is going to help him get that money. So it makes sense with paying him earlier rather than being like in a Dak Prescott situation where you're going to end up having to pay him $60, $61, $62 million, which I thought Trevor was going to get, but he didn't. And then I think Tua came in right after and eclipsed him. Jordan Love gets paid. We talked about Tua, and it's just going to keep falling one domino at a time. More and more quarterbacks are making more and more money. So that's what they chose to do. Was it the choice I would have made? No, but I am also a biased fan because I don't like the Jaguars. I'm a Colts fan. They have been our kryptonite for the past 6-7 years, especially at their place. We have just not been able to win in Duval, so we'll see what happens. We'll get into the re-signings first. So they re-signed their perennial all-star outside linebacker Josh Allen, great pass rusher. Always seems to show up against the Bills for his namesake. It makes sense. Dearness Johnson, running back, who's had some, couple. He's shown poise, shown praise. Has been able to definitely perform. Solid running back too, right behind Travis Etienne. So I think it was a great pickup for them. Great resigning, and they resigned most of their O-linemen, a bunch of the O-linemen. So they're kind of running it back with that, which. Was it the best choice, seeing how Trevor Lawrence was not protected very well last year? No, but Not my team. I'm glad because pass rush gonna be getting after y'all again. Alrighty. Notable key free agency acquisitions. They got Eric Armstead from the Niners, defensive lineman, Darnell Savage from the Packers, Ronald Darby, I forget where he was playing last. Gabe Davis from the Bills, wide receiver. And then Mitch Morse for the center position. Don't know where he came from. Hopefully it helps them, center their O-line a little bit more, protect Trevor Lawrence, keep that dude healthy, because if he's not healthy, he ain't winning, I'll tell you that. Especially for with who they traded for in the offseason. They traded for the previous, 15th overall draft pick, Mac Jones out of Alabama. He traded with the Patriots, and now he's their backup quarterback. Word out of camp is it's not pretty. He's not doing great. People aren't liking him too much. His attitude's a little much. As a Bama fan, Mac was lucky to be having the talent that he was put around. That's the only reason why they were productive. It was kind of like an old school Alabama type of offense where the quarterback wasn't the factor and wasn't making all the plays. Where now, if you look at it, I mean, shit, Jalen Milroe is the whole Bama offense. He definitely carried us last year. So, is he a good backup quarterback candidate in the NFL? Sure, he needs to change his attitude a little bit, be a little bit less of an asshole and less of a douchebag. Figure it out, Mac Jones. Most notable free agency departure was Calvin Ridley, also Bama boy. For many times over, people were not happy with Calvin Ridley's performance last year, which is understandable, but the dude also still managed to get 1,100 yards. Was a productive receiver. Came in clutch when it comes to like third down production, but red zone was not the most favorable. Struggled a little bit. Not playing for a whole year and a half, almost 2 years, can definitely do that to you. So I could understand him not fully being locked in and not fully being like acclimated to the NFL environment. So he left, went to the Titans, which sucks because good receiver, definitely could help be productive for them with Will Levis. Is it gonna hurt Trevor Lawrence? I don't know. Christian Kirk, I've heard many times he was his number one, even though he only had like 789 yards, something like that. They hired Gabe Davis, like I said, who is not, the worst of wide receivers, but he's not the same level of talent as what's his face, Calvin Ridley. So kind of a TBD in that standpoint. If the wide receiver production is going to be the same, but once we get into the draft talk, which I think we'll switch to right now, we can immediately transition into their wide receiver core being elevated by drafting in the first round, 23rd overall pick out of LSU. They took Brian Thomas Jr., who is definitely a great receiver, great pickup for them. Word out of camp he has been absolutely dominating, balling his ass off, playing, lights out. So could potentially turn around and be their number one this year. Is that for sure? For sure? I don't know. I might pencil it in, actually. I think I'll pencil that bad boy in as him ended up being their wide receiver one. Christian Kirk is more of a slot receiver. Gabe Davis is more your deep threat. And then you have Brian Thomas Jr. He can do almost anything. So I like it. It was a good pickup. It's unfortunate because, I don't want to see the Jaguars get better. I want to see them get worse, but hey, it is what it is. Mason Smith, they drafted defensive tackle in second round, pick 48 out of LSU. Jarian Jones, cornerback, third round out of Florida State. Javian Foster, round 4 pick out of Mizzou. And then in the fourth round, they also took Jordan Jefferson, defensive tackle out of LSU. Definitely an LSU-focused draft from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Makes sense being so close to them. They're able to scout them pretty consistently with home games. I'm sure LSU is playing a pretty good amount of Florida-ish games. So they had a decent draft. I gave them a B, which is, they definitely did solid. Did they do everything they needed to do to solidify their team? No, but they filled a lot of their holes, and they're gearing up to at least be competitive. That's at the very least. The Jaguars will be competitive. I don't think they're gonna be, the more I think about it, do I think they're going to be the second team in the division? No, I don't. Is that a biased opinion? Probably, but just given the rest of the talent in the NFL, I could see them finishing fourth in their division. I could see them finishing second, though I don't think that's very likely. But I think third is kind of their golden spot this year. I think they're going to finish third. They could still contend for a playoff spot in that third division spot as well. I see Texans going about 12 wins, Colts going 10 or 11. I got the Titans either going 7 wins or going 11 wins. It's kind of like the flip flop. They're kind of like the coin flip toss up. Who knows what's going to happen? And then with the Jaguars, I predict somewhere between 9 and 8, 10 and 7. It's kind of like they have a tough schedule. They play a lot of really good teams. And they're not really built to beat everyone. Like week 1, Miami, that's gonna be a fucking torture because you know how Miami comes out. They're fucking great the first 4 weeks with what's his face, McDaniels. Why can't I think of his first name? Anyways, he runs a great offense, an absolute great offense. And their speedsters and they'll be flying around, which will be great to see. Cleveland, Buffalo, Houston, Indy, Chicago, New England again, not England again, Green Bay, Philly, Minnesota, Detroit, Houston, Tennessee, New York, Vegas, Tennessee, Indy. They're playing a lot of tough defenses, a lot of star-studded offenses. I don't see I see one single team that's going to be shitty on their schedule, and that is the Patriots, who I think are going to not win a single game. So, good luck to y'all, man. That's going to be a tough one for you. I'm not rooting for you. Y'all can fuck off. I'll tell you what. What else? Areas of strength. I think the wide receiver core is pretty built. It's a solid core. I think that's kind of where they're going to be. It's all going to depend on Trevor Lawrence and how quickly he can get the ball and how effectively he can get it out of his hands and how well the offensive line can protect him. But they're built up nice. They got a nice D-line, nice defensive ends. Obviously, they got the pass rusher with Josh Allen, drafted Mason Smith. They had a couple other studs, Eric Armstead's going to help solidify that D-tackle position. It's good. I think at the end of the day, it all rests on Trevor Lawrence. And if he is going to be the guy, how good of a quarterback can he be? Can he be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL? Can he be the guy that's going to put them over the hump when they don't have the money to go buy the most expensive free agent or the best pass rusher, the best wide receiver, having the best O-line? It's going to be really hard for them to consistently keep that together. I'm worried that not worried because I don't want to see them win, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to be a franchise quarterback, be a Patrick Mahomes type where he can carry the team on his back. He's going to need to show it this year because this is kind of their last year with a full team centered around him for them to take it to that level and be like, hey, we're going to bring this shit. We're going to be it. And fuck, man, I've said it every time. Competition in the NFL just keeps getting better and better. In the AFC, oh my God, it is absolutely stacked. Obviously, we're going to see injuries happen. Who knows who's going to stay healthy? It's definitely a game of attrition. So, Jaguars, what you got for us? We're excited to see it pop off. Excited to see a little bit of the preseason here and what they're going to get into. I think we'll call it there. What a really good episode. Good little talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sit there, go drop us a little comment and see. Let us know where the Jaguars going to finish this year. What's their record going to be? How far do you think they can make it in the playoffs if they make it to the playoffs? Or where do you see them drafting next year if you kind of see them falling apart this year? Give us your thoughts. Let us know. If you guys like this content, please consider liking, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We're bringing some more NFL content throughout the season. We're getting ready for the preseason. Week 1 is popping off as we speak. It's lit. Can't wait. Have a great day. Go smoke some fucking weed. Peace.